Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. I'm going to do a talking type of reading. I have some cards that I pulled out for myself earlier that I'll briefly show. I feel like it could be interesting. I don't read for myself as much as I used to, so I feel like it's 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 because I tend to go into specific hobbies of mine, and for the past couple of years it's been the fiber arts, but I still love to read. So uh, I didn't stop reading for ever. I mean, I was focusing on mainly my knitting for a long time, but um, I had the decks and I did go a while without reading too much, but um, I come on here to mainly do the Ukrainian readings, and I try to make them specific and at the same time universal because it's reading for um, I feel like it's specific, but at the same time it could be for like a larger audience too. And I give different situations, like scenarios in the reading to as examples because people could be going through different things, and I feel like I want to clarify that if you're like in a faithful relationship or connection and I say something as like an example, um it's like putting the energy where it fits. It doesn't have to link to being something detrimental to an area of your life that isn't like that. But I feel like it's definitely food for thought. And for readings, there's always like a timelessness to it too, because of free will. Like you'll do this one moment and do something else the next moment. So, um, hopefully, when you listen to the readings, there is something that is palpable and that you could just really think about and hopefully incorporate and try to improve different parts of your life, or like enhance it in some way to make things better. So, I was saying that I was more into the fiber arts these days or years. I feel like now it's but a little different, but still on the creative side. It's like sewing, and I didn't finish this yet, but I did trim it like the roof more, so I'm really happy with it. Um, the chimney will definitely be different because I'm going to add more of the night sky, which is, well, the blue and yellow fabric, and there's some leaves on there too. But the inspiration is like a fairy house and like a Hutzel house, and um I and like when like the hats and stuff. That's what I was going for as I started. But if you saw the other videos, it was me like trying to improv, but still being a Libra and constantly really just having to do something and then I do something else. Like literally I did it and then I took the seam ripper and I did something else afterwards. and I'm going to put a backing on it. So these are really fun houses. I wanted to put this on a bag, and I'm gonna make another video on my other channel because that's more for my other things. But now that I'm thinking about it, I want to make so many different houses. Like I feel like I want to make a mushroom house now. And I know I want to make a boathouse and like a cottage and like an ocean house, like the colorful ones that are on the ocean side or like the coast. And it's just so fun. I also have this, and I'll go into the reading in a moment. So this is a hat that I started working on, and I just finished the Latvian braid. I love Latvian braids, and whenever a pattern says maybe if you want you can put the Latvian braid in, I'm just like, that's so fun, of course. So this is actually using the Ukrainian yarn, and I have another yarn, well, for the main color, and the band actually has like a description on the inside that I didn't see because it's my first time opening it and using it. So again, I'll show that in another video on my other channel. But I'm so happy that I started to use the Ukrainian yarn because I've been wanting to. I was thinking about doing a garment with it, but I just switched out the mohair that I originally had for it because I'm taking a course right now. Like I went back to college to do something else to add to my degree, and I wanted to knit on it when we had like the break time, and I didn't want anybody like reacting to the mohair, so I was like, okay, I think I'm just gonna switch it out. So this is like the contrast color, and I really love it, and it is cooler than the other yarn that I have. I don't know the properties of this sheet, but it, it tends to do well in the desert areas. So, um, well, at least the wool does. I don't know completely about the sheets. Um, this is my laptop, my other laptop that I got from school, and I'll just quickly show the pattern, and then I'll show my cards. So this is the pattern. It's a free pattern, so I don't mind showing it. And um, I think it'll be fun. So the cards that I got, I feel like they're pretty specific because it really makes me want to continue doing these readings. Because sometimes I'm just like, are people receptive to these readings? Because they're a specific reading for a specific audience. And of course, anybody can read it. Oh, yeah, I'm wearing my thrifted ears. I got these like rubber ears from the thrift store for like 75 cents. It was literally 75 cents. So, it kind of goes with like a vampire theme with my Chemical romance shirt, and then when I wear other colors, I feel like it's a fairy look. So, the cards that I got: Crystal Clear Intentions, Archangel Michael, be clear about what you desire and focus upon it with unwavering faith. I feel like these cards, like this card comes up specifically for, continuing on this journey, and this one too. This one is specific, and the leadership one that I did see, but this one is Indigo Children and Indigo and Crystal Children. Archangel Metatron. You have a bond with children. In particular, you can help children who are sensitive. So I also feel like maybe those who are going through hard times too can also be having like a wounded inner child. And then, beloved one, Archangel Chamuel, I'm helping you with your spiritual soulmate relationship. And one of the other things I notice is like sometimes when I try new decks, I enjoy the decks, but I feel like it might like give a different energy to the reading, or it definitely does. Um, because sometimes it tends to be like more direct and more like maybe another energy than what is like the person watching might want to have. And of course, you want to give stuff that might be something that they need, but at the same time, it's good for hope and reassurance. And um, I try to keep that in mind. So I kind of like see what can be added to the reading. And you know what? I feel like a deck can be added to this reading. So I'm going to grab it in a second, but let me show these cards. So I have the Judgment, Major Arcana, the Nine of Wands, the Six of Swords, and it might give like insight on how I read for myself too. The Six of Wands, the World, Major Arcana, and then the Ace of Pentacles, Major Arcana. I'm sorry, the Ace of Pentacles isn't Major Arcana. The World is Major Arcana. I meant to say that the Tridents are on both cards. Such a thing with me lately, because sometimes you know what I've been doing? I like skim over words, and then I got this email saying it was like Amazon Fresh, and then I literally like skimmed over it and I thought it said animal flesh. And I'm like, Adrian, like you need to just like pay attention. Like I know, like, I should. When the Ace of Pentacles comes out, I can't like help think that they're like multiple people. Like if they're like involved or like watching in some way. And with the Judgment card, I feel like it was more of like judging or looking into myself that was like necessary for this type of calling. And the Nine of Wands is one that was like it it almost felt reversed in a way because it needed to be energy of needing or like getting back on the horse, like with the Six of Wands, and like get into like the world or like into the reading or do what's necessary to. I feel like it's like instilling something in the Ace of Pentacles, and again, that feels more like a community sen setting, and I feel like it links to the beloved one, Archangel Chamuel, and like the spiritual soulmate relationship, so more particular in that way. The Six of Swords, um, it can be getting past a certain like again, um, this path feels right. Um, and I'm hoping I do the right thing with it. So that's like the motivation speech for myself, and that Judgment, because the Judgment and the World, like those are like towards the end, like it almost feels like why turn back now when you already like kind of turned the world upside down doing something like this. Like you, like girl, you committed at this point, because how long has it been and you're still doing this? And I'm like, yeah, I'm persistent. So those are my cards. I'm gonna get the other deck actually. Give me 1 second. So I'm gonna add the Earthside Divine Tarot. I feel like it's a deck that has a good response to it. It tends to be one of my lighthearted decks, and I feel sometimes, especially with my more direct decks, I would say that are closer to the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith imagery. I don't know, feel like it gets taken out of context sometimes. Like I feel like it's direct in a way that sometimes I feel like it sounds like I'm being mean, or if I'm like pointing out something that I'm not trying to point out. That kind of situation, because I have talked about it with my other air sign friend, and she like we had like these conversations, and we're just like, do we sound mean? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean, and I'm sorry if I sound mean, but and I feel like I also have a lot of, sorry, there's like this thread that's just hanging off this bed desk thing, which I'm kind of upset that I don't have my other one. I had that plastic one from IKEA. This is also from IKEA, but it's the wooden one. And I was just thinking, like, wouldn't it be something if I got the wooden one? Because the wooden one is just like the fancy one. And then I don't have a toolkit. I know my dad has a lot of tools, but I'm like, I'm not digging through like the toolbox. And one of the bolts, or not the bolts, like the screws, one of the screws comes undone constantly, and I kind of just like use my nail to like twist it on. I know it's not the best way to do it, but now that I have another tool from when I got my featherweight sewing machine, I could just use that if I really wanted to. But the plastic one was, I think, like I feel like I really liked it, and I know plastic. It was $15, and this was like $30, and the wooden one. And then there's always like a question after like I tell like my stories, because they usually are like pretty drastic. So I fell on the table tray because I got like horrible cramps after a bed frame fell on my head. And then the question that comes up is like, oh, Adrian, that's so unusual. How does a bed frame fall on your head? And I'm like, because it was like mounted on the wall, not mounted, but like it was like on the wall because I had this other apartment that I never used because I felt bad. I'm gonna start playing cards. I felt bad because I'm usually okay with loud noises. Like if I have neighbors and they're doing something, it's usually something that I am okay with. But that specific time, it was just so loud because you could just hear every there. It was a specific thing that would happen basically most of the day, where they had a child and then a dog run around most of the day, and that's all you heard. And I'm just like, damn, this is a lot. And I've honestly, I lived in like the poorest city in like one of the states, and I have heard like super loud nights, but a lot of the times it wasn't like that. But this was like every day, and I was like, damn, this is like loud as shit. So I couldn't like be there, but I was locked in. But luckily, they gave me my full um, security deposit. I don't know how reversed I would consider that. Because it came out like it just like flew out. It's the Ace of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles was one of the cards that I just showed for like the last card that I just showed. And I would have to say that it's kind of honestly a benefit to live in states that like are low key, because one of the states that I grew up in is considered not like a great state. It's actually considered like a party state, but I never went to like I never went to a college party either. Um, I don't know if you would consider going to if I considered even going to a high school party because it was just like a bunch of people that like I hung out with and then just hanging out. I didn't really feel like it was like a party, but because those states like I feel like the government isn't so strict. Because I feel like I don't know the last state that I was in. I don't know if it's just like super by the books because I was literally out like less than 30 minutes outside of DC. I keep saying that, but man, when they get you, like they get you. And I feel like they made a mistake in the beginning with it's this whole thing with my license. So they were talking about one day, like in September 2023, if I had insurance, and then they were going to be like, okay, well, we'll charge you like non-compliance and like reinstatement type of thing, like over $600. And I'm like, so they didn't get me because they made a mistake because I've had like USAA for the past what couple of years and I haven't changed it. And then I got switched to like property, personal property, and then my dad's like, out of all this, like he lived in multiple states too, and some that I haven't lived in. He's like he's never had to do that with his car, and I'm like kind of really irritated because since I have that now, for the next 3 years, my license is gonna have that type of thing that pops up. Not like I'm planning on staying in America for the next 3 years, but it's just kind of irritating because if I try to go to the DMV, there's a good chance that they're gonna be kind of like talking about it, and I'm like, look, I this is completely off of other stuff. I know that they mentioned if you don't keep up with your insurance, I'm like, but I did. So what's the deal? Because why am I getting in trouble for this? So, um, there's that. Some Pentacle energy, a lot of Pentacle energy actually, because you also have the Queen of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles. And it does talk about like patience when you're making an investment with the Queen of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles. Also having a foundation and security. And it could even be like some type of focus. And this could be, I know it can be job oriented because of how Pentacles are when it tends to be linked to money or earning something or working towards something. But I feel like it can be linked to some type of household or like family investment. It doesn't need to be like a full house, but um, if you're kind of being guided with anticipation or feeling like life is leading you somewhere and you're doing this and that, um, there is the essence of that security that comes along with it that um, whatever you're doing is helping along the way, but it's going to be like a timely thing where the efforts are ones that you actually have to invest in. So the obstacle is I feel like they all kind of go together, honestly, because like the way that like the cards came out and then I was differentiating the different positions of the cards, they kind of feel like they group together in some way. So this is the Emperor, Major Arcana, and leadership is there with authority. And the eagle, I don't know if that's an eagle, but it kind of reminds me of like America too. There does feel like a jump start. Um, yeah, there's a lot of things that are going on in the world, America included. I'm sure that it'll go in, well, at some point it'll make improvements, but the obstacle just seems a little chaotic. Like it feels like it comes from multiple sources. And actually being able to have a hold on something and to take off with it, since it's linked to Aries energy, I feel like that's in its nature to find where the jumping point would be because you can see those different possibilities. But with it being in the obstacle, it's unusual because like a like a mountain goat, they could see so many different places to jump to when they're climbing these places. But I don't know if it's foggy or there's just something that needs to clear up with the Seven of Pentacles in order for it to be clear. Because again, with that time thing, or maybe you're not. I'm not saying I'm reading for signs, but maybe like just getting the essence of the sign. Like maybe you're not an Aries, but you're doing this thing that seems a little bit out of the ordinary or out of like your nature, where it's almost like if you're in the pos- pentacles energy and you're planting something, but maybe you're planting in an unknown environment to you. Like maybe you kind of just, this is new territory. Um, and it's like getting a feel of the land. That can be something that takes time, and honestly, it might be a little bit of trial and error too. But I feel like there is going to be progress that comes out of it, and then from there, the Emperor might have an easier time to actually make it so it's an investment or it's something that you could really say that we could live off this or we could work off of this in some way. Because the Ace of Pentacles is there, so that kind of leads me to believe that this journey in some way, and it can be like the smallest way, but it's still there, is it has begun. And like with the Judgment card that I got in the last reading, there might be, I'm not saying lack of concentration, but maybe it's almost asking yourself and winding down with it. Like there could be a lot of things like with the Emperor, if it just feels like it's a busy energy. Like it could be with work and school and finding like that balance of it. It can be the home life too, and um again with the Ukrainian readings, like if you're active duty, like it could be, there could definitely be a lot going on there because it does say to just like pay attention, but maybe there's something because maybe like again with the Seven of Pentacles, there's it's if it's a new environment and it's like there's a lot to observe because you're not sure what you're observing, so it's really like the whole picture. And I feel like at this time it's kind of asking at this point to just um, get to like the details of it, because with the full picture, you're not going to be able to like answer your questions or like help anybody else with maybe stuff that they have going on. Because, well, you have Hello from Heaven, Archangel Azrael. Your loved ones in heaven are doing fine. Let go of worries and feel their loving blessings. I do feel like it is a reassuring card too, that maybe with the Queen of Pentacles, she is usually, or he is usually in an energy of, um, like there's something that is like foundational about the way that the thoughts and decisions just like come together. It's not like in disarray usually. So that also feels a little bit out of the norm for the archetype. But with Hello from Heaven, it just seems like to continue to go with it, and things can follow through from there. Because again, with listening, like these are two major listening cards. You have Archangel Uriel, pay attention to thoughts and ideas that come to you as their answered prayers. And Archangel Zadkiel with clairaudience, notice the loving guidance you hear inside your mind and from other people. So these are, I feel like, major things that could be popping up. Also with Archangel Uriel, it can be like the type of how you like say the say the reading or say the story to where it can be receptive, because the Aries is, well, the Emperor sign, and well, Aries the sign and the Emperor major arcana card, it is a card that can be like linking to that type of leadership role where people are looking for, I was getting like guidance or clearance of things. Like, so maybe at this time there might be some things to clear up, because that might have been like the confusion about it. And maybe the Aries doesn't know the jumping point or like where to go from the location that they're in. So there can be like more of um fine tuning, and if there's a speech that is going to be said, then um, maybe have other types of ways of saying it. Or I feel like one of the most important things is like the authenticity behind it, and like the genuine nature of like the sign and like that speech, and the way that you carry yourself as a leader, and why people came to you in the first place. How to overcome the obstacle is the Two of Wands. And this this is like embarking type of energy, because it is a planning card, and it does have like important decisions and navigation. And it makes sense because when you have the Three of Wands, that, it comes after the Two of Wands, you see a ship that's sailing. So you don't really, well, whatever feels right at that time with the reading, but if you're the person that's looking outward towards the ship that's leaving or coming in, if you're the one on the ship, um, what the ship has on it, like what is like the travel route for what's, and like the goods that are there, and the intentions behind it. So I do feel that there might be something here that really pushes you to think more clearly about how you pursue either a person or like a situation. It just seems like it needs to have something specific that goes along with it. So again, it brings more clarity and reassurance, and and then it gives like motivation for things to keep moving forward, as I mentioned in other readings with those types of goals. So the past is the Ten of Pentacles, and this could also be linked to the family. And it has more of like tradition. You do see different generations here. I know it's kind of bright, but there is like that type of security that comes with this. And honestly, I feel like there is like something that might have to do with wealth too. So I feel like that could be like one of the things that you might hone into. Um, if you are in something like a committed relationship or going towards that direction, and or if like something in life that needs your commitment, then I feel like one of the sorry, who's talking about me? I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. But the words that I was getting was like financial dependability. And I know that you're usually thinking about like independence and relying on yourself, but I also feel like this has to do with working together in some type of capacity to um, help the situation for what it is. And then you have the Two of Swords. I like how there's like an overseeing or like overthinking energy. And that could be with the Emperor too, because it's an obstacle. And I'm not saying like distractions, like in terms of seeing people. I feel like it's distractions with like life in general, just kind of makes you feel like other stuff, I'm not saying is not important, but you just start to try to keep up with this part of your life. But just because like another area doesn't seem like there's a lot of upkeep, I feel like I f- that the reason why it feels like that is because of either how steady you're consistently putting energy into it, and that's why it doesn't seem backed up. But with that Two of Swords, I feel that something needs to help the Emperor out. And honestly, it kind of feels like it could be another energy aside from the Queen of Pentacles. So that could be the type of interaction that goes on there, and with the past being the Ten of Pentacles. So, if it's like the family dynamic thing, then with the Ten of Pentacles, the Two of Swords is something that kind of might try to enlighten you. Something might go back into concentration, or like that sounds not good, but to have it so that your concentration isn't broken, because I feel that it really affects other areas more than you're thinking about. Because again, it just seems like those areas have always been like a outstanding in some way, and for it to not be in that position, it just seems like unusual for like to think that it can be in any other way. But you do have the card that's victory, and this is Archangel Saldafon. Your prayers have been heard and answered. Have faith. And I honestly feel that it really just comes, well, of course you put action into it, but I feel like it really comes down to like paying attention. And I'm not saying like it doesn't have to do with anybody's like um intelligence. I feel like it's really um observing and then making the judgment calls from there, and it can be clarifying and remembering the things that made you go on this path to begin with. So you have the Seven of Cups with the Lovers, and then the Temperance with the Knight of Wands. So it does feel like that could be energy of like the other party, maybe, or the other person or environment, because Seven of Cups and the Lovers isn't a card that, or card combination that you would normally want to see together, because it just feels like that one of the things that was coming up before I started the reading was like, what's on your mind? So I feel that if it has to do with somebody else, and I feel that it definitely could be, that maybe the priorities seem like they shifted a little. Maybe you're enjoying yourself doing something else, and then they're just like, but how about when we used to do this together and you really enjoy doing this, that, and um I feel that there is that paying attention to make sure that the other person still is feeling like they're included, or they're like still a part of like the dynamic duo that is the Lovers card, because you have the Temperance and the Knight of Wands, so it just feels like the energies are, they don't necessarily go together. I'm not saying the two people don't go together, but it seems like maybe the other person just feels that this energy is like out of balance in some way. And I feel like it could be feeling like out of balance because they're not in the balance, or they feel like they're somehow not included in the balance. But I feel that I don't think that's the intention, because the with the Queen of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles, it's really trying to observe the type of um like scope the situation at hand, or um I don't know if it's scour, because like there's a phrase that I never know the phrases for these things, but to like, oh, survey the land. Um, there was a confirmation for me too, uh, which I thought that was super confirming, because it was almost like me being me. I was thinking that for the longest time I forgot what Mount Rushmore was called, and it came no, like it came up like multiple times when I tried to think about the word. And I was like, well, if we're meant to do this together, then I had to remember what this monument is called, and that will be my confirmation. And then it came up, and I was like, wow, that was like meant to be. So, again, with these energies, like, they really don't go together, and it, like, is strange. So this is Temperance and the Knight of Wands. Because it just feels, it, like, it's literally, it feels like energy that's saying, like, what's on your mind? Because, like, I, well, I honestly, like, don't want people to expect other people to read each other's minds. And, like, even if you have been together for a long time, like, it's still good to communicate those things too. Because you have the, again, the Temperance and the Knight of Wands, as I keep saying, and um, but you can link the Knight of Wands to like Aries energy too. But the Temperance just seems like it it's a calmer fire energy, even though it's linked to Sagittarius. But the Sagittarius sign can't be linked to war because it's like the only sign with like a weapon of some sort. You don't have to consider it a weapon, but so when it's linked to the Temperance and you have like an angelic energy that goes with the Temperance card, and that it also feels like confirmation, like hello from heaven, like your loved ones in heaven are doing fine, let go of any worries and feel their loving blessings. Like that kind of feels like a reassuring energy, like when you've just been through stuff. And I do feel like it matures a little bit because like when you get older, you don't really want to, at least I don't really want to put myself through like the bullshit that I put myself through when I was younger. I'm just like, honestly, it's a different type of tired. Like your soul just feels tired and you're just like, I just want like peace. And that's kind of how it's been with relationship stuff. Like I'm just like, um, I don't want something that's so, I don't want to say toxic like I've done in the past, but I feel like as I've gotten older, I realize that I don't know, not, I don't know, but that I don't want to have like such a roller coaster of a relationship type of thing. Like I just want something that like the Ten of Pentacles and really grand, because it's something that it's like through thick and thin type of thing where you can rough it out and you keep going at it and um work through stuff instead of feeling like you need to walk away from it. So I feel like that like a building block type of relationship thing. And I feel like with the Temperance and Knight of Wands, actually, I also feel like this is a reassurance too, because the Knight of Wands, in a way, it kind of looks like it could be going into battle. And then the Temperance is kind of confirming that um, things are going to be okay. And that's what I was getting for, clarifying about doing these readings too. So I'm gonna pull a couple more cards and then that'll be the reading. I feel like it was really interesting cards from the Glory to Ukraine Tarot because those were just, I don't want to say like polar opposites, but they're not like cards that you would pair together and feel like it would be, um, not saying it wouldn't make sense. I'm not saying that they're bad cards together, but they're out of the norm for them to be positioned like that. These are a lot of strong energies, especially from the Glory 2 Crane Tarot, because you also have Major Arcana Justice card. And then the other major arcanas were Temperance and Lovers, as well as Emperor. And then Hermit too. I feel like with the Glory to Crane Tarot, if there's an energy of not sure if things are going to be happy again, or I don't think it's necessarily like a rough patch, but it just feels like energy of maybe you could let me know about things because I feel like there's some communication that's not there, like there's some like misconceptions because you literally have the cards, like these two cards in particular, it's the Four of Wands with the Two of Cups. And so this is, I feel like this is a happy type of celebratory relationship style, or like the way that things are usually. I don't mean to make it sound like it's, I hope it doesn't sound offensive when I say that, but my words in this reading have been a little chaotic, but hopefully it reads the way that it's, again, receptive. But with the Six of Cups, it like has a nostalgic energy to it because it's if you have energies that if you haven't grown up with each other, it can be people that have been together for a while or known each other for a while. And there's like those core memories and moments and like heartfelt energy that goes into it. And then you have like the Hermit here with really looking like with the clear, is it clairsentience and clairaudience that talk about listening and paying attention. Um, I feel like that's like one of the things too. And not only with yourself, but to see how the other person is like gauging what's going on. So you have the Two of Cups with love here too, and partnership and like harmony, emotional bonds, equality. Sorry. So that's that combination with the Four of Wands and the Two of Cups. So, and the Four of Wands, like it's a four and it's like a foundational number. So that's that foundation and stability that you have with this dynamic. So these are really strong cards to have for this. And I feel that since it has this energy, I don't have any doubt like with the Justice card because the Justice card is honestly like energy that you can put into a relationship or like situation, and um that's kind of what manifests, or that like is what comes into the like life, and even consequential things. So consequences don't need to be a bad thing, but they can be influenced or based off of previous actions that have taken place. So with these cards, I don't even worry about it either because it's like um there's just you could just feel like the bond here. And then I'm going to read these two cards. So it's Compassion and Counselor. So Compassion, Archangel Zadkiel. I feel like I had, yep, Archangel Zadkiel with the clairaudience. Soften your heart and respect with respect to the situation and all people involved, including yourself. And then the Counselor, Archangel Azrael. I feel like I had that like two, or did I not? Sorry. That was Uriel. And then, oh no, Azrael. Hello from heaven. So, you are a natural counselor, and many people benefit from your guidance and reassurance. So, I feel like this was a lighter reading. Hopefully, um, I feel like if you needed something that is pick me up or just like a reminder, like a loving reminder, then hopefully this can help. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in another video.